A bolt of brocade went missing from the storeroom, which wasn't a big deal. But the next day, this imperial-bestowed brocade was being worn by cousin Ji Xiangyun. I went to ask my husband, but he was dismissive. It is just a bolt of satin. Why are you being so stingy? Xiangyun has no parents and came to seek refuge with me. Yet, you treat her like a thief. Li Chuing. How can you be so jealous? Seeing the flash of disgust in his eyes, I knew that what they wanted wasn't just the imperial-bestowed brocade, but much more. I turned and left, going to the authorities to have them arrested. At night, my husband Luo Chengguang kicked open my door, grabbed my wrist, and said with a harsh look, Li Qing, it is just a bolt of brocade, yet you actually reported it to the officials. Xiangyun is just a woman. Where is she supposed to put her face? How will she get married in the future? Hearing this, I couldn't help but laugh, pulled my hand free, and gave him a backhanded slap. What business is it of mine how she marries? Luo Chengguang, is your brain plastered with shit? That is imperially bestowed brocade, and now it is being worn by an orphan girl. Are you truly not afraid of being seen by someone with ulterior motives who will impeach you? And then you can forget about keeping your official post. Hearing me say this, he looked as if struck by lightning, only then realizing the implications. He immediately softened his tone and apologized to me. Madam is right. I was imprudent. He held my hand, but I smelled a faint scent of orchids on him. It was Ji Xiangyun's. I remained composed. You and I are one as husband and wife, so Xiangyun is naturally my sister too. But she has to accept some punishment for this matter. Otherwise, I won't be able to face all the gossip outside. Yes, Madam is right. You can do whatever you want. It is just that Xiangyun is young and doesn't know better. And this matter was also my lack of consideration. Hearing him say this, I sighed. I'll handle this matter. Although he was unwilling, what I said wasn't wrong, so he had no choice but to listen to me. After all, I was the one who used silver to push him up to that petty 6th-rank official post. Besides, I, the mistress of the house, am still here. How could a mere orphan girl open the storeroom and take the brocade without even asking? Coupled with the scent of orchids I smelled just now, I felt even more certain that there was something going on between the two of them. Go open the storehouse, check what is still missing. Also, find someone to follow the master, see where he has been going all these days. My personal maid went right away to arrange it, and I also sent someone to release Ji Xiangyun. Only, when she came out, I deliberately had someone place a fire basin at the side door, making sure people saw her step over the fire basin to enter, to ward off the bad luck. Sure enough, Ji Xiangyun went back to her room crying. The maid Luchi told me she smashed quite a few teacups. I just smiled and said nothing. Deduct it from her monthly wages. Not even half a day later, Hongji returned. Leo, madam, look, she brought a list. It was all the missing items from the storeroom. Besides brocades, there were also quite a few valuable head ornaments. As expected, these things all ended up with Ji Xiangyun. Hongji was fuming. The master's page boy said he often goes to Liu Yun embroidery shop. He stays for nearly half a day at a time, and when he comes out, he has the scent of rouge and powder on him. Guess who owns that embroidery shop? Hongji looked outside mysteriously, making sure no one was there before lowering her voice. It belongs to that cousin, Ji Xiangyun. Hearing this, I was even more shocked. Opening an embroidery workshop in the capital, where land is worth its weight in gold, isn't that easy? When Ji Xiangyun first came to seek refuge with Luo Chengguang, she was wearing coarse cloth clothes. She was even worse off than the maids in my manor. Yet now she can come up with the money to open an embroidery workshop. I immediately slapped the table and stood up. Check the accounts. Being the mistress of the house is no easy task. I handle all the comings and goings, yet she went behind my back and opened such a big embroidery workshop outside. And I knew nothing about it. Besides Luo Chengguang, who gave her the silver, the servants in the manor knew but didn't report it. She had so many new things over there, yet surprisingly, not a single person told me. This household really needs some discipline. Otherwise, they'll really think I'm just a merchant without any tricks up my sleeve. I have over a dozen shops under my name. How could Luo Chengguang's meager salary support such a large family? It is all thanks to me taking care of things. But looking at the ledgers now, I spotted something off at a glance. The fabric shop and the cosmetics shop have had deficits for 3 months in a row. On the surface, there aren't any problems. But I know my shops. It is summer now. The weather is scorching. The fabric shop imports are all light and thin materials, priced much lower than in the winter. But now, there is a deficit of 300 taels. 3 consecutive months. Losses every month. Our fabric shop's business is clearly the most booming. So now, someone must be pulling some tricks. The shopkeeper was waiting outside. I remained composed. Let him in. Once he came in, I slammed the ledger on the table. Speak! What is going on, madame? This lowly one is in a bind too. There are many nobles in the capital. If they don't come, there is nothing I can do. If it really can't be helped, just close down the fabric shop. Hearing this, he jumped in fright. In this lowly one's humble opinion, the shop's location is quite good. Why don't we wait a bit longer? Waiting isn't impossible. Only you must bring out the real ledger for me. Hearing this, the shopkeeper instantly froze. Madame, what do you mean by saying that? I suddenly slammed the table. I'm afraid the accountant has been replaced too. Shopkeeper, you have some nerve, actually daring to cook the books behind my back. If I report this to the authorities, I certainly won't spare you. He was instantly scared out of his wits, but still insisted stubbornly. I really didn't. I instantly sneered. Drag him out, take him to the woodshed and tie him up. As for the real ledger, go search the shop. Hongji, take a few extra people over there, detain the accountant for me, gag his mouth, and tie him up too. The bookkeeper is my trusted aide. On his first day, I told him to prevent anyone from cooking the books. Use a typo method in the ledger. For purchase amounts, whenever there is a R, write it as Fei, just to stop anyone from swapping the books. But this ledger now, the writing is all correct. Shopkeeper Yu suddenly got scared and knelt on the ground with a thump. Madam, it was the young master who made me do this. As a servant, I didn't dare stop him. Manager Yu spilled the beans all at once. It turned out that Luo Chengguang had taken the money from the shop to fill the holes at Luyun embroidery workshop. It wasn't just the fabric store. The other shops were the same. He wants to give me an empty shell, hollowing me out step by step. Madam, the master even took your double-sided embroidery away. What did you say? Hearing this, I was completely shocked. Perhaps to save his life, shopkeeper Yu confessed everything, even planning to steal my Li family's unique double-sided embroidery technique to give to Ji Xiangyun. That double-sided embroidered screen with the phoenix-piercing peonies. You had us get it mounted, and the son-in-law just took it away. He is going too far, Luo Chengguang. You took the silver and stole my screen. That is the piece my Li family embroidery workshop was going to enter in the Chamber of Commerce competition. I poured my heart and soul into embroidering this for over a year. I had someone detain manager Yu's family, ordering him to go back to the fabric shop to keep working, standing by for orders. I also reported it to the officials and had the accountant who cooked the books arrested. Only then did I find out he was a distant uncle of Ji Xiangyun. Luo Chengguang had planted him here. At first he wouldn't confess, but I used some silver 10 strokes of the plank later. He spilled everything. He was thrown into jail to be tried another day. At the same time, I had someone stall Luo Chengguang while I went to his study. When I came out, the letters in my hand filled me with overwhelming hatred. How dare he? He started exchanging letters with Ji Xiangyun half a year ago, and the two of them played the loving couple in the outskirts of the capital, until Ji Xiangyun couldn't stand it anymore and didn't want to be a mistress any longer. Luo Chengguang conspired with her to seize all my family assets, and then cast me aside for having no son. I, Li Chu Kuiying, would rather be a widow than ever agree to a divorce. Did this adulterous couple think they could force me to submit by stealing my things? I sneered and personally took people to Luyun embroidery workshop. Once there, I demanded to see the boss. Get Ji Xiangyun out here to see me. Hearing this, the shopkeeper didn't dare be careless, and hurriedly went to find Ji Xiangyun. Seeing me, her face looked a bit awful. Sister-in-law? Sister-in-law, you ought to call me sister. Luo Chengguang won't let you in the door. But if I put in a word to let you be a noble concubine, would you be willing? Her face looked awful, eyes brimming with tears. Sister-in-law. Shangyun came to the capital thanks to cousin and sister-in-law. But if I have to be a concubine, Shangyun would rather die. Then just go die. She was just about to cry. But when she heard my words, she instantly froze. Ji Shangyun, you said it yourself. You won't marry Luo Chengguang. Remember this. As long as I'm here, I will never let you enter this family's door. After saying that, I turned to leave. Before going, I called out behind me. Since I already know Lu Yuan embroidery workshop is yours, please return every bit of the silver you stole from me earlier. Otherwise, I'm afraid that uncle of yours. I didn't finish my sentence. She should know the consequences. Sure enough, in less than the time it takes to drink half a cup of tea, Luo Chengguang arrived in a rush. Chuing! How can you be so vicious? You've trampled on Shangyun so much, she is about to hang herself. Is that so? She stole things. And she stole imperial brocade at that. She truly ought to atone with death. Not to mention, she was having an illicit affair with you at the villa. If caught, she'd be drowned in a pond. His face looked awful. The corners of his mouth twitched, and he couldn't say a single word. When I married Luo Chengguang, he was a poor boy. I used my dowry to support his studies so he could pass the exams. But now that he has become an official, he is ungrateful. For this kind of bastard, I don't need to be polite. Using my dowry to support a mistress, Luo Chengguang. Either she enters the manor as a concubine, or she dies. Luo Chengguang met my fierce gaze and fled in terror. I couldn't help but sneer. Coward, I got up, found a box and went out under the cover of night. When I returned, I breathed a sigh of relief. It is not the final moment yet. The things I found in his study are enough to cost him his life. You think just because you stole the double-sided embroidery, you can make a name for yourself in the capital. I'll make sure you know just how much your reputation stinks. On the day of the Commerce Chamber evaluation, I arrived as scheduled with my embroidery. Ji Xiangyun came too, bringing her embroidery. As soon as the phoenix amidst peonies screen appeared, it immediately caught everyone's attention. From the silk thread color scheme to the needlework, it was impeccable. The judges from the Commerce Chamber cheered in unison, especially Luo Chengguang. He is a 6th rank official, nothing more than a scribe. Yet he was invited to be a judge clearly to back up Ji Shangyun. The screen was displayed from all angles. Ji Shangyun, confident of victory, exchanged a smile with Luo Chengguang. He looked to his left and right, and as the representative, finally spoke up. Phoenix, amidst peonies, has pioneered a new technique in double-sided embroidery, far surpassing the Li embroidery workshop of the past. Whether it is the coloring or the craftsmanship, it is all refreshing and new. Miss Ji absolutely deserves to be called number 1. The whole venue thundered with applause. I clenched my fists tight, staring at Luo Chengguang's face, feeling nothing but disgust. Someone saw me. Boss Li, why isn't your Li embroidery workshop competing today? Where is your work? Scared, aren't you? With such a gem before us, Boss Li knows her place. Hearing this, I laughed. Under the gaze of the crowd, I stood up. Luo Chengguang was stunned. He was just about to speak when he heard me say, "Isn't my work right there? The phoenix amidst peonies is the work of me, Li Chuing, the 12th generation successor of Li's double-sided embroidery, and she, Xiangyun, is an absolute thief." Luo Chengguang got angry, and just as he was about to speak, I stopped him. Lord Luo, not only are you a judge, but you are also my, Li Chuing's husband. Everyone present knows very well that my Li embroidery workshop has taken first place for 3 consecutive years. There is no way we would lose to an outsider orphan girl this year. Ji Shangyun got anxious. Cousin-in-law, I know you hold a grudge against me, but why must you treat me like this? I am just a lonely orphan who came to the capital and opened an embroidery shop. I snatched your business, and you. I was impatient and cut her off immediately. You stole money from my shop to open your embroidery shop, And you even stole my embroidery pieces. I actually want to ask, how did you come up with this phoenix amidst peonies? The double-sided embroidery technique isn't exclusive. But do you have the sketches? Your Luyun embroidery workshop doesn't have gold silk thread. So, where did the silk thread on this phoenix come from? If you bought it from outside, do you have the purchase receipts? Ji Xiangyun froze instantly, while Luo Chengguang said from the side, Qixing, stop making a scene. I'm not making a scene, I just want justice. This embroidery competition is for the Empress Dowager's birthday. You, Luo Chengguang, cannot bear that responsibility. Hearing this, the other judges nodded repeatedly. Boss Li is right. Since Madam has said so. What evidence do you have? Ji Xiangyun reacted. Yes, cousin-in-law. This is a piece I spent half a year rushing to complete. How can you slander me like this? As she spoke, she started crying. I sneered. Of course I have proof. My Lai family's exclusive gold thread mark is hidden right inside this embroidery piece. If you don't believe me, I'll rip it open and show you right here. No, Ji Xiangyun immediately lunged forward. What if you ruin it? I looked at her with a face full of disdain. Don't you know how to embroider? Since I'm the one ruining it, I'll just compensate you at full price. If you want to offer it up, then just have someone stitch another one immediately. What are you afraid of? Or are you saying you're at your wit's end? That you forgot how after stitching it once? Or perhaps this isn't yours at all? My pressing questions made her face turn deadly pale instantly. The others also came to a realization. Right. If an embroidery piece is taken apart, so be it, it can be fixed. At worst, all of us embroiderers from the workshops will help you. Feeling guilty? Is it yours or not? Ji Xiangyun hemmed and hawed, unable to speak. Luo Chengguang still tried to block me. Enough, madam. I know Xiangyun snatched the title of first place from you and you're unhappy about it. But it is a perfectly good embroidery piece. It would be a real shame to take it apart. Lord Luo, whether she is first is up for debate. Even if she is first, if I take it apart, naturally, I will take responsibility. You're blocking me. Lord Luo, are you afraid? Or is it that she is your cousin and you want to shield her? Hearing this, he immediately flew into a rage out of humiliation. I didn't waste words with him either. Holding the scissors, I stepped right up. First I picked the thread ends, and then, under their gaze, I took apart the entire peony, revealing the secret mark inside the brocade layers. Everyone, please take a look. This is our family's secret gold thread pattern. There is even a hidden character lie on it. It reveals itself when held up to the light. This is a unique anti-counterfeit mark designed by the Lai family, precisely to prevent some people from stealing. Hearing me say this, everyone present examined it one by one and immediately understood. This really does belong to the Lai family. It seems it really is the stolen embroidery. How dare she? This is the Chamber of Commerce competition. The winner gets an audience with His Majesty, stealing someone else's things just to climb the social ladder. I heard she stole the imperial brocade before and showed off at the flower festival. Turns out she has sticky fingers. Cousins this, cousins that, who knows if she is stealing men too? At this moment, Ji Xiangyun turned pale. She hadn't expected I still had a trump card that would thoroughly beat her down so she couldn't get up, causing an uproar across the venue, facing everyone's scornful gazes. Ji Xiangyun looked on the verge of tears and suddenly threw herself at Luo Chengguang's feet. Cousin, I don't know why this happened either. This screen was... Shut up. Luo Chengguang backhanded her with a slap, knocking her to the ground, then dragged her up and threw her to the servant behind him. Take her away and interrogate her strictly. Liyun Embroidery Workshop is disqualified from this competition. He looked at me again. Madam, it is I who failed to discipline her properly. Xiangyun is just an orphan girl being new to the capital. She was inevitably a bit too eager. Watching Ji Xiangyun left speechless. I couldn't help but sneer. This screen was left by me at the embroidery workshop for mounting. I don't know how a girl like her had the ability to steal it out of thin air and take it to her Luyun embroidery workshop all on her own. I've already reported it to the officials. I won't let this matter rest. Besides, She previously stole quite a few of my head ornaments as well as the brocade bestowed by the emperor. Husband, please handle this impartially. When Luo Chengguang heard me say this, his expression turned ugly. He knew I meant business. With everyone watching as a sixth-rank official, he couldn't show too much partiality. His own cousin was now confirmed as a thief. This could be a big deal or a small one, so he had no choice but to abandon Ji Xiangyun. Ji Xiangyun panicked. She was gagged but still begged bitterly, kneeling down and kowtowing for mercy. Unfortunately, before Luo Chengguang could speak, the officers came over. Ji Xiangyun, Luo Chengguang, you two disrupted the competition and stole the embroidery needed for the Empress Dowager's birthday. Men, arrest them. Luo Chengguang's face turned green. No, it is not. This is my wife's stuff. How can you call it stealing? He wanted to distance himself immediately, but who knew the officers weren't that easy to fool? The Prince Regent ordered the Dali Temple to handle the case. If you have anything to say it to the Prince Regent yourself in court. After saying that, he waved his hand and took the two of them away. And I went along with them too. On the way, Luo Chengguang looked at me, his gaze sharp. Li Qiying, you have such a cruel heart. Husband and wife are one, yet you actually want to drive me to a dead end. You brought this on yourself. I told you, let her enter the manor as a concubine. She wasn't willing, and you refused too. You two are insatiably greedy, wanting to seize the family fortune and kick me out of the house. Today, we fight to the death. Hearing my words, he immediately turned pale with fright, then said cold, don't you forget, I'm a sixth-rank scribe, much better than a merchant like you. I watched him leave with a cold face today. I, this merchant's daughter, am going to teach you, petty sixth-rank official, a lesson. If the regent's plank hits me, he has to bear it too. When we got to the hall and I saw the person sitting at the head, I felt much more at ease, and immediately knelt down. Greetings, Regent. This official, Luo Chengguang, greets the Regent. Your Highness, today's incident is truly just my wife making a scene out of jealousy. The theft is completely non-existent. What do I need you to teach this king how to try a case? Slap his mouth. The words had barely faded when the guard beside him flew forward with a slap, striking Luo Chengguang so hard he immediately fell to his knees. I wouldn't dare, since you wouldn't dare. Then remember this prince came here today because I heard the double-sided embroidery presented to the Empress Dowager was stolen and destroyed. The evidence is irrefutable. What else do you two have to say? The cloth was removed from Ji Xiangyun's mouth. Hearing this, she turned deathly pale from fright, looked at Luo Chengguang, and said, it was him. Luo Chengguang immediately shouted, shut up, you wretch! I took you out of the countryside to take good care of you because I saw you were pitiful and lonely. But I never expected you to repay kindness with enmity, and take my wife's embroidery for your own use. Xiangyun, I am so disappointed in you. Ji Xiangyun heard him say this and slumped to the ground right then. Luo Chengguang, it was you who told me to steal it. It was you. She lunged forward and tightly grabbed Luo Chengguang's collar. You said it yourself, Li Qiying is a merchant reeking of money. You didn't like her, so you came to me. You took her money to open a shop for me, and even stole her embroidery for me. Luo Chengguang, you wanted to devour her fortune. Luo Chengguang flew into a rage out of humiliation. My wife and I are one, hers is mine. I just took it to use for a bit. How does that count as stealing? As for you, I was kind enough to take you in, yet this is how you treat me, I sneered. Taking her in. You two were already messing around half a year ago. In the villa on the outskirts of the capital, she even got pregnant with your child, but unfortunately miscarried. The nanny who served her back then is right outside. Prince Regent, Xia Hoilin, had the nanny brought in. Seeing her, Ji Xiangyun shook like a leaf. I said again, Luo Chengguang, you married into the family. As the live-in son-in-law of my Lai family, you have no right to take my money to secretly keep a mistress. Furthermore, the embroidery was stolen. I have already reported it to the officials, and the culprit was caught with the goods. Shopkeeper Yu confirmed that it was you who had the screen carried away. How do you explain this? Shopkeeper Yu and the other witnesses had all arrived, including the former bookkeeper. Seeing these witnesses, he broke down on the spot. At this moment, Xia Huilin went through all the documents and evidence I submitted, then immediately said in a cold voice, Lady Ji stealing imperially bestowed items and refusing to repent, despite repeated warnings your crime is punishable by death. Luo Chengguang as a court official, knowing the law yet breaking it adds to your crime. You stole a total of 36,000 taels of silver from wife Master Li. You are ordered to return it within 3 days. 30 heavy strokes of the plank. Luo Chengguang took one look and was immediately terrified. Your Highness, this lower official had compelling reasons for doing this. Your Highness, Li Chuing and I are husband and wife, but she intends to rebel. This lower official stole the embroidery only to find evidence. Hearing this, I couldn't help but frown tightly. Rebellion? Luo Chengguang? I am just a merchant. How could I rebel? I can prove it. Hearing this, Xia Huilin immediately said, Where is the evidence? It is right inside the screen. Just look at this inscription. The screen had already been carried into the hall by now. Hearing Luo Chengguang say this, I raised my eyebrows. A phoenix passing through peonies. The sun and moon reopening is rebellion? Yes, exactly. It is rebellion. Xia Huilin's face darkened. I knew he was angry. Luo Chengguang was courting death himself. He couldn't blame anyone else. He was even feeling pleased with himself. Who doesn't know that the reopening of the sun and moon is high treason? Li Chuquang, are you dissatisfied with the current emperor? To actually openly write a seditious poem on the screen. I looked at Luo Chengguang. He really is asking for death. His level of understanding matches exactly with what he has done today. Luo Chengguang, you are so short-sighted. You have no idea that the sun and moon reopen was written by the Empress Dowager. You're talking nonsense, Xia Huilin said coldly. She isn't talking nonsense. The current emperor's ascension was somewhat dishonorable. He killed his father and brothers. However, it was done out of absolute necessity. Back then, the emperor was forced into a dead end and had no choice but to cut a bloody path out. Luo Chengguang was somewhat shocked at this. No, it is her, Li Chuing, who is being insubordinate. Your Highness, you absolutely cannot let this vile woman go. It is precisely because I, your humble official, knew she was a venomous woman that I risked death to steal the screen. Allowing my cousin to use this Commerce Guild evaluation to bring the screen back into the light. Xia Huilin shouted, Insolence! After the emperor ascended the throne, the Empress Dowager went to White Horse Temple to pray for the dead. Moved by emotion, she wrote the 4 large characters, the sun and moon reopen, which were carved onto a stone tablet. That tablet is still standing at White Horse Temple right now. Li Chuing only wanted to curry favor with the Empress Dowager, which is why she made a rubbing of her original calligraphy and embroidered it onto the screen. Luo Chengguang, you have a lot of nerve, daring to slander the Empress Dowager. Luo Chengguang froze instantly, his face turning deathly pale. I sneered from the side. Lord Luo is a man of such great learning, having placed last in the imperial exams back then. Surely you can't not know this? Or are you just fishing for unearned fame? Luo Chengguang visibly panicked when I put it like that, only then realizing what nonsense he'd just spouted. And Xia Huilin immediately declared, for the Empress Dowager's 60th birthday, the 4 seas were at peace. Now that stone stele is placed in the Great White Horse Temple, enjoying incense offerings. You claim the Li clan rebelled. You truly deserve to die. Men drag the 2 of them out and behead them. At this moment, Luo Chengguang was instantly terrified. He knelt down to beg for mercy. Your Highness, spare me. It was all her, she misled me. Although I am the Lai family's live-in son-in-law, usually she just beats or scolds me. I am a man, and I have dignity too. After becoming a 6th-rank official, she still wasn't satisfied. She even wanted me to climb higher yet, wouldn't give me any silver. Socializing with colleagues inevitably costs money. Your Highness, have mercy. Have mercy. I just want to separate from her. My cousin and I were childhood sweethearts in love. It was she who tore us apart. I shook my head at the time. Your Highness, he is lying. Luo Chengguang and Ji Xiangyun are from the same village, but in the 3 years we've been married, we have never consummated the marriage. He just wants to gobble up my family's inheritance. Seeing that I'm a merchant's daughter with a vast fortune, he started scheming. I've been married to him for 3 years, yet I remain a virgin. He has the ambition of a wolf. Not only does he want to seize the family property, but he has also long been having an illicit affair with that woman, Ji, framing me, and slandering the Empress Dowager. Though I, of the Lai family, am merely a merchant's daughter, even I know that the peace of this realm relies entirely on the Emperor's wisdom. Nowadays, even a merchant's daughter is qualified to enter the palace to meet the Emperor and kowtow in thanks. But Luo Chengguang, as a court official, openly defies decrees, and even knowingly dared to lay his hands on the imperial gift. I implore your Highness to judge clearly. Hearing me say this, his eyes looked ready to burst with rage. He lunged over to strangle me, but was pinned to the ground by the guards. Xie Huilin looked at me, summoning come, inspect her body. He immediately sent a matron over to the inner room to examine me. Although it was humiliating, it was worth it. The matron came out and reported to the prince that I was indeed a virgin, and had never consummated the marriage. Everyone around was stunned. They hadn't expected that I, Li Chuiying, had been the mistress for 3 years without bearing children. The people in the clan all called me a hen that couldn't lay eggs, but they never imagined that it was Luo Chengguang who simply wouldn't touch me at all. At this moment, Ji Xiangyun burst into laughter. Li Qiang, I thought you had hogged him all to yourself, but who would have guessed that you're just a pathetic wretch too? This dog of a man ruined me. I was a daughter from a respectable family. It was him. He said he'd give me a home. He said he'd make me an official's wife, tricking me into giving myself to him. I traveled all the way to the capital to seek refuge with him, only to be treated like this by him. Luo Chengguang, you bastard, you've ruined me. Your Highness, I want to testify that he cheated in the imperial exam. He didn't pass on his own ability. Shut your mouth. Upon hearing this, Luo Chengguang's eyes instantly split with rage. Ignoring me, he lunged at Ji Xiangyun, pinned her to the ground, and strangled her with a death grip. A guard kicked and broke his hand to finally rescue Ji Xiangyun, who lay on the ground trembling. He said it, a fellow villager went with him at the time. His real name isn't Luo Chengguang. It is Luo Shiqian. Your Highness is perceptive. The real Luo Chengguang was killed by him, right after the list was posted. Hearing him say this now, I couldn't help but be shocked. I only knew he was the last place Jinshi. I never expected he had actually killed someone. At this moment, Ji Xiangyun said in a deep voice, back then, he wanted me to go with him, but I didn't dare, so I just kept watch from far away. The remains are buried right under the first big tree on the hill behind the villa. On the 3rd day after he took office, he got someone to wipe out that whole family. He took over his identity without a hitch and became the real Luo Chengguang. Hearing her say this, I couldn't help but be shocked. I originally thought Luo Chengguang was at most just a useless live-in son-in-law who was greedy and unfaithful, which is why I wanted him dead, but I never expected him to be so ruthless. Actually killing a fellow villager, stealing his identity to become Luo Chengguang, and then getting with me. Just thinking about how I'd been keeping a murderer for 3 years, I was instantly terrified. Xie Huilin roared at that moment. Do you have proof? I do. The real Luo Chengguang had 6 fingers. If you don't believe me, you can send someone to the village to ask and you'll know. As for the essays from back then, just check them and you'll know. At this very moment, Luo Chengguang became thoroughly afraid. He was shaking like a sieve. Seeing him like this, was there even a need to verify? Xie Huilin immediately ordered people to go find his exam papers from back then. Comparing the handwriting would reveal the truth. Luo Chengguang refused to write, so I brought out his daily letters from home. These letters are all evidence. Seeing this scene, Luo Chengguang went completely pale. He pointed at us with trembling lips, unable to say a word. Soon, the men sent out by the prince dug up a skeleton under the big tree at the villa. The coroner confirmed that it was the real Luo Chengguang with 6 fingers. Seeing this scene, Luo Chengguang completely collapsed to the ground, a yellow stain spreading beneath him. Absolutely disgusting. He never expected that the secret hidden for all these years would be exposed by the person sleeping beside him. Seeing this, Ji Xiangyun laughed loudly. Luo Chengguang, if I die, don't think you'll live alone. The things you did have finally come to light. Heaven has eyes. I've been anxious all day and night, but now I can finally get a peaceful sleep. Your Highness, I've done so much. Can I atone for my crimes? I was helpless too, just a small woman with no support. It was all him. He used his power to force me. He took me by force. I beg you, Your Highness. Ji Xiangyun crawled over, wanting to beg for mercy, but Shi Huilin was unyielding. Guards put Luo Chengguang to death by 1,000 cuts. As for Ji Xiangyun, the death penalty is spared, but punishment cannot be escaped. Exile for 3,000 Lai. Ji Xiangyun immediately cried out for mercy, but no one paid her any attention. Afterwards, Xia Huilin looked at me. Lady Li, this prince has granted what you asked for. Now you must also do what needs to be done. Rest assured, Your Highness. I am willing to donate half of my family assets to the imperial court, to be used for the daily necessities of the border war. From now on, half of all the Lai family's business will be handed over. The reason I could get the Prince Regent to help me was also because I gave up half of my fortune. In this capital where an inch of land is worth an inch of gold, there is no telling how many high officials and nobles are eyeing the Lai family's double-sided embroidery. Although it is unrivaled in the world, there are quite a few people who want to take it for themselves. Open spears are easy to dodge, but hidden arrows are hard to guard against. I must find a powerful backer, and the Prince Regent, Xia Huilin, is my backer. Back then at White Horse Temple, I happened to save him when he was poisoned. Later, Xia Huilin promised me a wish, saying he could help me solve any problem. And after this happened, I went to find him. I used Yaldinim tales to get him to stand up for me today. And now that the goal is achieved, per our agreement, I'll offer up half of my entire fortune. Xia Huilin nodded and left right then. I walked out of the government office, looked around and couldn't help but smile. The sunshine outside was just right. At this very moment, a hysterical scream came from not far away. I took 2 maids and ran straight there, seeing Luo Chengguang pinned down and undergoing the death by 1,000 cuts. It felt truly satisfying then. Never satisfied with your greed. You plotted so much. Did you really think I had no one to rely on? Seeing me, Luo Chengguang opened his mouth and shouted, Madam, I was wrong. Save me. Your Highness, spare my life. With every scream, the executioner cut deeper, 3,000 cuts of Ling Qi, yet he only endured a little over 200 before breathing his last. Seeing him like this, I shook my head. Greenie asked me if I should collect her body, and I laughed. Collect what body? He was a ruthless criminal who committed murder and arson. What does it have to do with me? Rolling him up in a tattered straw mat and tossing him into the mass grave? Shouldn't that be our job? Lu Qi nodded repeatedly. Miss, you are a free woman now, no longer the mistress of the Luo family. I never belonged to the Luo family to begin with. He was the one who married into ours, silly Lu Qi. Only then did Lu Qi realize. At that moment, I took a deep breath. How hard it is for a woman to make a life for herself. Running into someone like that, I had to give up half my fortune, pretty much half my life, just to get my freedom back. What does an ordinary girl have to do to jump out of this fire pit? Once married into the husband's family, whether she lives or dies depends entirely on the man's conscience. If he has a conscience, seeing a lifetime of hard labor, maybe he'll grant her some dignity. If he doesn't and brings home 3 wives and 4 concubines, the woman can only knock out her teeth and swallow them with blood. I absolutely will not allow such things to happen again. And I also plan to use my own abilities to do a bit more. I expanded the Li embroidery workshop again, merged the Liuyan embroidery workshop into it as well, took in some orphan girls, and taught them double-sided embroidery. Double-sided embroidery is my family's unique secret skill. But I can also let more and more people learn from me, giving them a skill to make a living. I, Li Chuquang, don't have any great ability. I only seek a place in this prosperous age to live a stable life. As for those orphan girls, I also teach them according to their wishes. If they want to study, I send them to school. If they want to embroider, I teach them embroidery. And if they want to do business, I give them the capital. Anyway, every little bit helps. 3 years later, my embroidery workshop had doubled in size again, and the Lai family's double-sided embroidery shone even brighter, thanks to my efforts. I took first place in the Chamber of Commerce evaluation again, winning high praise with my Phoenix Nirvana double-sided embroidery. I also received a commendation, and with Xia Huilin's recommendation, I entered the palace to meet the emperor, receiving a plaque that read, "Number 1 under heaven." Using this plaque, I recruited even more embroiderers. Xia Huilin invited me to his residence for a talk, and I brought a whole box of gold and silver with me. When he saw me, the corner of his mouth curled into a smile. "I didn't expect you to do so well. You've actually made quite a name for yourself now. Have you ever considered entering the manor? Finding a place within this prince's residence?" I looked at him. Xia Huilin is the prince regent. Having his protection would naturally be good, but there is a condition: to be his woman. But I wasn't willing. After going through what happened with Luo Chengguang, I realized that getting married isn't the only way out. I came out of that square courtyard. I don't want to step into an even bigger cage. Thank you for your deep affection, Your Highness, but Quang knows she has no place within the inner courtyard. It is better to return my freedom. Quang is willing to never marry, just staying like this, taking in some orphan girls to live out the days in peace. He looked at me for a long while without speaking, and I immediately knelt down. "I beg Your Highness to let Quang travel north and south, spreading double-sided embroidery throughout the land, so that the figure of the Lai family may also travel the world. To give the soldiers and civilians at the border a bit more support, Quang is willing to donate her entire fortune again." I clenched my fists tightly, incredibly nervous. After a good long while, he finally smiled. "It is good that you have such thoughts. This prince won't force you. Go, leave the gold and silver, and make sure not to forget. Half of your annual income must be handed over. Rest assured, Your Highness, queuing as long as I'm around. Our Li embroidery workshop will have the regent's protection. But if one day he is gone, I, Li Chuang, will be pretty much done for. I don't care about what happens after death. Only my reputation in life. I have a clear conscience." Walking out of the prince's manor, looking at the clear sky outside, I couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Just then, a girl from the embroidery workshop walked over. "Boss, hurry over and look. They all say since it is a holiday today, the boss should come eat with us." I raised the corners of my mouth. "All right, I'm coming."